here, and then after I'm going to give you or do the oath, we'll be sitting next to Lauren there. Okay?
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
You never know.
Understand this.
Oh, right. Call the city council to order. Please rise to the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
roll call clerk.
Alderpersons Eckebrach,
Here.
Hanson. Here. Gilson,
Here.
Marty,
Here.
Roseberry. Here. Mayor LaQuinn,
Here.
Chief Anderson,
Here.
and Street Superintendent Bob Berry.
Here.
Approval or correction of the minutes for the meeting held June 15th, 2015, regular session.
I'll make a motion to accept them as presented.
Second motion.
Any discussion? Take the roll, clerk, please.
Roseberry. Yes. Eckebrach,
Yes.
Hanson. Yes. Gilson,
Yes.
Marty.
Yes.
Petitions and communications. I guess you want to talk for a minute, Bev?
Yes. Thank you for allowing me to be before the council again this evening. My complaint again is the intersection at Cedar and State. If we don't have an accident there pretty soon, it's going to be a miracle. Out of 100 cars, I would say 70 of them roll stop through the stop sign that's on Cedar Street. 20% do not stop, and 10% do stop, a complete stop. I would really like to see an unmarked vehicle parked along Cedar, out of uniform, and just watch the traffic there for one day. You'd be totally, totally amazed. We do have little kids in the neighborhood, which is a big concern. We do have dogs that occasionally get out, a big concern. I myself witnessed some children, not children, young adults from school, couldn't get their license number, but it was a good thing I wasn't right on the corner pulling weeds out by the road there, or I might not be here today to tell you about it. 2 young girls hanging out the car window, and they were just having fun, I'm sure, not realizing the danger they were putting themselves in or anybody that was out there on the street. Coming to the meeting tonight, a car just went right through the alley, across the intersection, and never looked to see that I was coming down there. If I wouldn't have hit the brakes, I would have broadsided them. Whose fault would that have been? I suppose mine, because my vehicle wasn't under control at all times. I would really like to see the city put stop signs every block coming down State Street that is the main thoroughfare. You do have them on the other streets every block that are going east and west.
I believe, isn't there a stop sign there in the intersection, Bev?
North and south, not east and west. East and west, they've got a 3-block run. If there's any cars that actually are under the speed limit or doing the speed limit, it's a miracle. I would say most of them come through there at 30, 35 miles an hour, which is dangerous. The other day there was a fender bender right down at the stop sign, and it was a pickup truck. They never called it in. The pickup truck was coming down the road, not paying attention, speeding, and rear-ended a car that was stopped at the stop sign. Apparently just broke a tail light. They got out and conversed, exchanged names, and left. Now, if there would have been a child on a bike coming across there, that child would no longer be with us. I just ask for the safety of the community that something is done. This is the second time I've appeared before the council about that intersection. Thank you.
Thanks.
There's a problem throughout the whole city where people just cruise right through stop signs. And I don't, maybe it's something we need to start cracking down on.
Well, I mean, we get complaints and we go out and sit, and I mean, I've been over to your place, I don't know how many times I sat up there, we put 2 more stop signs there, and just run them going the other way. So all we can do is continue to enforce that area.
Well, I think you really have to sit in an unmarked car. If you sit in a squad, they're going to slow down, just like on the freeway. They're traveling 80 miles an hour. An officer has somebody pulled over, they slam their brakes on until they're down to 65. You know, same thing in the city. You're going to speed, you see a squad, what do? You slam your brakes on.
I can sit up there with my personal car.
Can I make a suggestion sometime, maybe come sit over by the well house? Like, have my truck parked there and sit in it and have the city vehicle with another officer up one way or down another, because I've witnessed it on State Street right at that corner, even by the well house where there is a stop sign, and I bet 60% of the vehicles never stop at that stop sign.
We'll figure something out.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you, Bev.
You're welcome.
I believe the gentleman wants to talk about ambulance service.
Good evening, my name is Mike Krieger. I'm here on behalf of Lifestar Ambulance. We're one of the 5 companies that submitted a proposal to the ambulance committee to provide ambulance service to the city and the surrounding municipalities. I wanted to just briefly introduce myself, talk for a minute about our company, and then see if you have any questions, and I'll be done. So my wife and I started our company back in 1995. This is our 20th year of providing ambulance service. Lifestar started as a very small volunteer organization where we just had a couple of people that ran on one ambulance. And over those 20 years, we've grown to add ambulances, grown to add different service areas, and from providing basic life support up to advanced life support and critical care. And we currently serve a number of municipalities, somewhat similar to Adams here. The city of Columbus and a pretty big surrounding area, the city of Waupun and a big surrounding area, and the village of Slinger and some surrounding areas. And we hope to be able to provide that service here to the city and the townships as well. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I'll let you get on with your meeting.
I have a question.
Sure.
Can you give us a little rundown on your rates?
Sure.
And where you would be located and stuff like that here if you've gone that far?
We, so all ambulances pretty much charge an advanced life support fee, a basic life support fee, and mileage. And our basic life support fee is $550. Our advanced life support fee is $675, and our mileage rate is $15 per mile. And there are supplies that are itemized. Some insurances pay them, some of them don't. It just depends on the insurance rate.
When you say $15 a mile, is that both ways or?
Just loaded from pickup point to
Okay.
drop off.
Any questions, Julie?
I was just, and you plan on setting up a, whatever you call it, a service center, if you will?
Correct.
Here in Adams?
Yeah, that's correct. And, you know, location was one of the concerns that we had, and I think the other people that submitted besides ACES, who are obviously established. And, you know, we don't have a building picked out yet because we're a ways from, you know, from the contract switching over. If it does switch over, and we would look a little bit more if we were the chosen provider. We did talk to a gentleman out by the Adams Township, by the airport. He has a building there that might work with a little bit of modification. And if ACES wasn't going to be around still, then we'd entertain looking at their building. But we would need something big enough to fit 3 ambulances, which is essentially what the contract calls for.
So what would your basic bid be coming in here for the city and the towns around us?
It was $207,000 to provide one crew 24 hours a day at the paramedic level. And then the second crew would be 24 hours a day, but half of that from basically 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. would be staffed hourly at the station. And the back half of that would be a mixture of on-call personnel and hourly personnel. And then the second proposal was to provide just 2 crews 24 hours a day, both of them in-house at the station, and that was $337,000 per year.
And just so you guys know, the ambulance committee received 5 bids, and we're looking over each of those bids right now. So it should be
Correct.
shortly before.
Any further questions?
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, did we have any other people interested in ambulance service or just one?
No, Julie said there's 5.
There was 5
Was 5?
people that submitted proposals, yes.
Well, do you have all the information then on the cost?
Yep. That's what we're looking at right now.
What do you think of?
Julie's right on the ball on that. She's been sitting on it all the meetings.
If I didn't know
Keep
that.
count on it.
Thank you.
Report of standing committees, finance.
The Finance Committee was called to order on June 18, 2015 at 5 o'clock. On roll were members Roseberry, Marty, and Hilson. Others attending, Mayor LaQuee, Clerk Treasurer Winters, Deputy Clerk Treasurer Jeannie, and Jeff Cohen, Consultant. Motion by Marty, second by Hilton, to approve the minutes on the May 18, 2015 meeting as printed. All voted aye. Petitions and Petitions and communications. Clerk Winters discussed the bank fund balances. She also informed the committee of the balance in the Centennial account at BMO Harris Bank and suggested we might transfer the funds. Agenda items, discussion, recommendation relating to consultant contract. A discussion was held regarding hiring Jeff Cohen, a retired CPA, to help us with the budgeting process this year. He gave a brief history of qualifications and informed us he charges $70 per hour plus meals and mileage. He said he would start work on the budget in September. It would be completed by the end of October. It was the consensus of the committee to have a contract prepared for hiring Mr. Cohen for submission to council for review. Discussion and update relating to delinquent personal property invoice. Clerk Winters informed the committee that she will be going to court tomorrow to represent the city as our attorney had a prior trial date. Discussion relating to lease extension for US Cellular. A discussion was held regarding the US Cellular lease extension. Another committee, Unison, emailed Clerk Winters with questions regarding a lease. Discussion update relating to city contracts. The city contracts were reviewed and explained and discussed by the committee. 2015 budget process review, revenues and expenditures. The reports were reviewed and discussion was held. A close watch will be kept on expenditures. Approve payment of bills, none were presented. Motion by Marty, second by Hilson to adjourn, all voted aye.
Thank you, Julie. Now we really put Dawn to work. Policy and procedure.
Policy and Procedure Committee was called to order on June 18, 2015 at 6 p.m. On roll call were members Hanson, Marty, and Roseberry. Others attending were Mayor LaQuee, Clerk Winters, and Bob Berry. Motions was made to approve the minutes of the May 14, 2015 minutes. There was no petitions and communications. Agenda items. Andrew Oleson from WRWA explained the wellhead protection ordinance that was recommended by the DNR. He will make the updated changes and send it back to the city. Recommendations were made to approve the wellhead protection ordinance after updates are made. Recommendations were made to approve the well testing ordinance amendment to section 9-4-2 parentheses E. Discussion was held on the ordinance amended to government and administration, mayor, common council. The committee started review of the personnel administrative handbook. Motions were made to adjourn. On June 24th at 5:30 p.m., the Policy and Procedure Committee was called to order on June 24th at 5:30. On roll were members Hanson, Roseberry, and Hilson for Marty. Others attending were Mayor LaQuee, Clerk Winters, and Bob Berry. Motions were made to approve the minutes of the June 24th, 2015 meeting. The Personnel Administrative Policy Handbook continues to be revised. Motions were made to adjourn. July 1st at 5:30, Policy and Procedure Committee was called to order. On roll were members Hanson, Roseberry, and Marty. Others attending were Mayor LaQuee, Clerk Winters, and Bob Berry. Motions were made to approve the minutes of the June 24th, 2015 minutes The Personnel Administrative Policy Handbook continues to be revised. Motions were made to adjourn.
Okay, thank you, Don. Personnel Committee, Hilson.
Personnel Committee was called to order on June 22nd, 2015 at 5 p.m. On roll call were members Hilson, Hanson, and Marty. Others attending were Mayor LaQuie and Superintendent Barry. Motions were made to approve the minutes of the June 4th, 2015 meeting. There were no petitions and communications. Motions were made to reconvene in closed session for considering employment of public works crew person. Called to order, all present. Motions were made, adjourn from closed session and reconvene in open session. Discussion was held regarding wage increase for Bruce Bain. 6 applicants were selected to be interviewed for the crew position. Motions were made to adjourn. The Personnel Committee was called to order on June 29, 2015 at 5:45 p.m. On call were members Engelbrecht for Hilson, Hanson, and Marty. Others attending were Mayor LaQuie and Superintendent Barry. Motions were made to approve the minutes of the June 22, 2015 meeting. There were no petitions and communications. Motions were made to reconvene in closed session to interview applicants for public works crew person. Call to order, all present. Interviews were conducted. Motions were made to adjourn from closed session to reconvene in open session. Motions were made to hire Christopher Anderson pending background check with second choice of Edward Stevens for the public works crew person position. Motions were made to adjourn.
Thank you, Bobby.
You're welcome.
Report of city officers. I only had one thing that I want to make sure gets out to everybody. I received it today. Everyone should be receiving re-evaluation notices in the mail. It's really important that you fill them out and mail them back. Last year, the state requires that the city evaluation is between 90% to 110%. Last year it came in at 112%, so the state requires a reevaluation. When you get those notices, send them back. Fill them out and send them back. Otherwise the assessor is going to do what he calls a doomer's evaluation, where they will fill them out for you. And I'm sure Bev can back me up. It's going to be much higher than what it would be if you filled it out yourself.
Usually is.
So it's important that everybody fill out them reevaluation notices. It doesn't necessarily mean your taxes are going up. They could very well go down. But it's important that you get them out and return them. Okay, that's the end of my talks. I hope everybody had a nice 4th of July weekend. Police chief.
Well, the only thing I have is Officer Matt Scher's wife had a work-related accident yesterday afternoon. She's at UW Hospital in Madison in critical condition, and she's not expected to survive. The police department probably for the next month will be working with part-time people to fill those shifts, and certainly hope and wish Officer Scher and his wife the best of luck.
Pretty unfortunate accident.
Yes.
She fell down a flight of stairs.
Yeah.
No, she's on life support. Okay, moving on. New and unfinished business. Approved mayor's appointment of alderperson to Aldermanic District 2, remaining of the term. The individual, I see she's in the room tonight, it's Bobby Pantaleo. Can I get a motion to approve the appointment?
Go ahead. I make a motion to approve the appointment of Bobby Pantaleo to the city council. I'll second that.
Any discussion? Take the call, clerk.
Egebrecht,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Gilson,
Yes.
Marty,
Yes.
Roseberry.
Yes. Welcome.
Administration of oath of office to newly appointed alderperson, District 2.
Okay, if you'll just raise your right hand. I state your name,
I, Roberta Pantaleo,
having been appointed to the office of, and state your office,
Aldermanic District 2,
swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
I swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of said office to the best of my ability. So help me God.
and will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of said office to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Okay.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome aboard.
Us men here are kind of getting outnumbered a little bit. Okay, moving on. Approve hiring of Public Works crewman Christopher Anderson. He had quite an impressive resume. I think he'll do well for the city. I need
I'd like to make a motion.
He's sitting in the back there if anybody doesn't know who.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the hiring of Christopher Anderson as Public Works Crewman 1.
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion?
Yeah, in the future, could we have their resume in there once you have approved, or so that everybody that wasn't sitting in on the evaluate, or, you know, or, could we?
Yes, you can. Thank you.
Any more questions? Would you take the vote, clerk?
Hanson,
Yes.
Gilson,
Yes.
Marty,
Yes.
Pantaleo,
Yes.
Roseberry,
Yes.
and Egebrecht.
Yes.
Welcome aboard, Chris.
Welcome.
Yes, welcome.
Mr. Mayor, maybe we could have him introduce himself. To everybody.
Ken, if you'd like to stand up and introduce.
Put him on the spot tonight.
I'm Christopher Anderson. I applied for the Public Works position, and thank you very much for hiring me. I greatly appreciate it. It'll give me more time with my son is what I was after, working less hours and closer to home. So I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you for applying.
Yes,
Thank you.
very much so.
Welcome aboard.
Okay. Introduce, adopt resolution 2015-20R, addressing salary and benefits for the crewman 1 position. And everybody should be aware that's a 1-year probation period. You aware of that? Yeah. It's every 6 months of doing an evaluation. At the end of 1 year, you'd be full-fledged.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution number 2015-20R. I'll second it.
Any discussion? If not, would you take the roll, clerk?
Hilson,
Yes.
Marty,
Yes.
Pantaleo,
Yes.
Roseberry,
Yes.
Egebrecht, Hanson.
Yes.
I guess I get to work now. Introduce, adopt resolution 2015-21R, Transportation Investment Coalition, League of Wisconsin Municipalities. Resolution 2015-21R, Transportation Investment Coalition. Whereas local government in Wisconsin is responsible for 90% of the road miles in the state, and whereas Wisconsin's diverse economy is dependent upon county and town roads as well as city and village streets and transit systems across the state. And whereas according to a report commissioned by the Local Government Institute of Wisconsin, the condition of Wisconsin highways is now in the bottom third of the country. And whereas state funding for local roads in Wisconsin has failed to keep up with costs over the past several decades, which has adversely affected local transportation finances. According to the LGI study, municipal transportation spending has declined from $275 per capita in 2000 to $227 in 2012. And only 2 states did local transportation spending increase less than in Wisconsin during 2000 to 2011. And whereas levy limits do not allow local governments to make up for the deterioration of state funding, and whereas Wisconsin over-reliance on bonding eats away at states' segregated funding sources. The state gas tax and vehicle registration fees, while increasing, go pay debt service rather than fund local transportation needs. And whereas safety is a primary concern and responsibility of local governments across Wisconsin, unfortunately, according to TRIP, a national nonprofit transportation research group, Wisconsin had 347 non-interstate rural road fatalities in 2013. And whereas the City Council recognizes that our state highways and interstate system is the backbone of our surface transportation system and plays a vital role in the economy of Wisconsin, both local and state roads need to be properly maintained in order for our economy to grow. And whereas from a competitive standpoint, Wisconsin motorists pay significantly less than any of our neighbors when you combine the actual annual cost of the state gas tax and vehicle registration fees. And whereas the Transportation Finance and Policy Commission, appointed by the governor and the legislature, clearly found that if Wisconsin does not adjust its user fees, the condition of both our state and local roads will deteriorate significantly over the next decade. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council urges the governor and legislature to agree upon a sustainable solution, one that includes a responsible level of bonding and adjust our user fees to adequately fund Wisconsin's transportation system. Furthermore, the city council directs the clerk to send a copy of this resolution to our state legislators and to the governor, Scott Walker. Be it further resolved that every month that state and local repairs are deferred increases the cost to taxpayers. Can I get a motion to approve Resolution 2015-21R?
I make the motion to approve resolution 2015-21R.
Can I have a second? Any discussion? If not, take the roll call, clerk.
Marty,
Yes.
Pantaleo,
Yes.
Roseberry,
Yes.
Egebrecht,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
and Hilton.
Yes.
Introduce, adopt ordinance 08-2015, amending section 9-4-2, parent E, well permit. This is one that I put on policy and procedure, so I'll have to take all the criticism if there is any. If you read through that ordinance, it deals with people with small private wells within the city limits. I admit I have one, and I was shocked with it when it came due. The DNR apparently now, the city ordinance says every 5 years. DNR requires the testing every 10 years. And with the wisdom of the DNR, they have put it where well drillers and pump installers, licensed well drillers and pump installers, have to inspect them. And I'll admit, I didn't mind paying the permit fee to the city. I didn't mind paying for the water test. But when the well driller charges me $200 for 10 minutes just to fill out a sheet of paper, it kind of made me a little irate. Set up a bad situation for the taxpayers. So I wanted to change that ordinance to read from 5 years to 10 years, which is what the DNR requires. That was my request for the change. I can't stop the DNR, I cannot stop the well drillers, but I can sure slow them down. That's my explanation.
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance number 08-2015.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
So what about the people that currently have them? Is there a date when they get a permit?
Yes.
Say,
That's part of the record keeping that I do, and I think one of the things that this will also help do is ease up a little more of the paperwork for me and make it a little easier for me to keep track of them.
so are we gonna, what? The next time that comes around, then it'll go for 10 years, and we're just gonna let it, whatever their
This-
permit says?
Right now, this summer, I think I've got 3 wells in the city that are due to be renewed. When they renew, they'll automatically just be renewed for 10 years, not the 5 years, so.
All right.
And then as they progress, like next year, I think I've got 6, they'll just go for 10 years until everybody's kind of caught up on that 10-year process, so.
Okay.
My little well I got, all I use it for is filling my fish pond, because the fish don't like chlorine. And during drought weather, I use it to water flowers and trees, that's it.
And that's pretty much what all of them in town are for, just for irrigation systems, so.
Okay.
No, think of it as $20 a year, 10 years.
There you go.
$10 a year, you said it was $200.
Yes, but it was $200 for, just for the.
That's just for the inspection.
Oh.
Just for the inspection, and the water, then water test.
Water
was
test is probably, what,
35.
45 by now?
And the permit for the city was $50, so by the time you got done, it was a $300.
So $30.
It wasn't so much the $30 a year, Julie, that bothered me, it was just, I didn't like being taken advantage of. Okay. Any more discussion? Should we take the call clerk?
Roseberry,
Yes.
Egebrecht,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Gilson,
Yes.
Marty,
Yes.
and Cantaleo.
Yes.
Authorization of operators licenses. I assume you check them all out, Chief?
Pardon me?
You check out the operator licenses?
I'll make a motion to approve those. I'll second it.
Any discussion? Take the call clerk.
Egebrecht,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Gilson,
Yes.
Marty,
Yes.
Cantaleo,
Yes.
and Roseberry.
Yes.
Approve payment of bills.
I make the motion to approve the payment of the bills. I'll second that.
Any discussion? If not, will you take the roll clerk?
Hanson,
Yes.
Gilson,
Yes.
Marty,
Yes.
Cantaleo,
Yes.
Roseberry,
No.
Egebrecht.
Yes.
I move to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Yeah, just wait. Okay, Gilson?
Yes.
Yes. Marty?
Yes.
Cantaleo?
Yes.
Roseberry?
Yes.
Egebrecht?
Yes.
And Hanson?
Yes. Yeah.
Meeting adjourned.
I can't write fast enough.